The ACT Fire Brigade has welcomed its newest recruits. The 16 candidates have already passed some of the toughest testing in the country, but that's only the beginning of their gruelling training process.
337 people applied, only 16 made it through. They come from Canberra and interstate, and they've all got three key qualities.
We look for firefighters who are smart, fit and strong.
It's a competitive and rigorous selection process, and Canberra's recruits are the nation's most multi-skilled.
The ACT is a little island in the middle of New South Wales, and we don't readily have access to support staff, and we therefore require our firefighters to have a larger range of skills at the recruit stage.
During their study at Recruit College 29 in Belconnen, they'll cover road accident rescue training, as well as general firefighting and fire chemistry. And even after they graduate, they'll still technically be in training for another 5 years. But a career in firefighting also offers opportunities to work overseas.
They have joined what I would call an international family of professional firefighters, and they will learn as they work as effective members of a team.
Next Friday marks 5 years since the Canberra bushfires. Instead of pomp and ceremony, these recruits will be in the classroom, preparing to do battle if and when Canberra's ever threatened by fire again. Geraldine Nordfeld, Win News.
The ACT Education Minister has welcomed the Rudd government's commitment to Australian history being a compulsory component of the curriculum for all school years. Mr Barr says a national curriculum is also a good idea as long as it allows for relevant local content. The issue will be discussed at the next meeting of Education Ministers in April. A 9-year-old boy who's walked from the Central Coast to Canberra has finished his month-long trek. What originally began as a father and son journey has developed into much more.
After a journey spanning several hundred kilometres and more than a month, Brandon Aubrey and his dad finally arrived in the capital this morning. They set off from Gosford on the 10th of December, the idea popping up a year ago when the youngster said he wanted to walk to Canberra to visit his cousins. His parents entertained the idea, hoping it would pass, but it soon became clear he was serious.
About 6 months ago, we were doing 10 kilometres a day, and I just realised once he reached that limit of 10 kilometres a day, and he'd sustained it for quite a period, that I had to hold good on my promise.
It's turned into a valuable fundraiser as well, with $5,000 collected for Dads in Education, a program aimed at encouraging fathers to take an active role in their children's education.
A principal event is a Father's Day breakfast. On the Central Coast last year and the year before, we ran the breakfast and we had 10,000 dads turn up each year for an en masse reading and breakfast. We'd like to emulate that right across the country.
It took me 32 days. It was originally going to take 40 days, but because of the cracking pace we've been going at, we ended up at 32 days.
It wasn't all without incident though. A mishap in Goulburn put Brandon in a wheelchair.
I jumped off a bunk bed and sprained my ankle.
But it's all been worth it.
Absolutely awesome. I'd do it again in a heartbeat. I'd probably be divorced if I did, but I'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Glenn Osborne, Win News.
Canberrans and visitors are being given the opportunity to see the Australian War Memorial in a new light. Starting tonight, the memorial will extend its hours, remaining open until 9 p.m. 3 times a week. Special twilight programming will be scheduled during the new opening hours, including film screenings, theatrical and choral performances, as well as historian talks. The memorial's current exhibition, Lawrence of Arabia and the Light Horse, can also be seen, as can the Iroquois helicopter. Australia's premier sniffer dogs were put through their paces today to celebrate the centenary of quarantine in Australia. While it's a serious job, the dogs' handlers still have to keep their charges entertained, or they'll lose interest in sniffing out the contraband.
Huck is 4 years old and has worked as a sniffer dog since he was 1. With a sense of smell 100 times more sensitive than humans, he's well suited to working in quarantine.
I think it's really important. I think the dogs do a really good job. They can detect things that otherwise could be missed through other sources.
Showing off his keen nose for detail, Huck gave a sniffer dog demonstration at the National Museum. Quarantine dogs need to be outgoing and not afraid of crowds or noisy environments. They also have to have an extreme desire for food to keep them motivated.
So they've got to do anything for food.
Beagles are used at international mail centres and airports to screen for banned materials coming into Australia.
When you think that our agricultural export industries are worth around $30 billion, it just highlights how important it is for all Australians to be really vigilant about what they bring into this country.
Being an island country, Australia's in a unique situation in that we're free of exotic pests and diseases like foot and mouth disease. And with dogs like Huck on the case, our quarantine service intends to keep it that way for another century. Geraldine Nordfeld, Win News.
Miriam, with sport is next, and the Capitals need a win tomorrow night, Miriam.
Yes, Jess, a home final at stake. And in cricket, the ACT Invitational side has an impressive day on the field against India.